Now it's stripping time.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
This is Hard Parking, sponsored by Right Honda and Right Toyota out of Scottsdale, Arizona. I am your host, Jhae Pfenning. I was pleasantly surprised. I was on YouTube the other day. You guys know I go down these YouTube rabbit holes, and this one was with Scottie Pippen. Big in the news, how he's continues to trash Michael Jordan, and everyone thinks he's crazy. But what I thought was cool was that I came across a Fox Sports channel, and it said, brought to you by Right Toyota. I go, whoa, wait a minute, that's my Right Toyota. And I looked, and it was like Fox Sports Phoenix or Fox Sports Arizona or something like that. I am sponsored by a company that also sponsors a Fox Sports channel on YouTube. Pretty cool. Makes me feel even more legit. Coming up on today's show, Mr. Drew Bunkley, C8 Matrix himself, Westgate Exotic Cars and Rentals man himself, came by the studio after Cars and Coffee the other day, and we talked about his Z06 that he brought over here, and I drove it. And he drove my NSX. So you'll find out our impression. And afterwards, I'll wrap up kind of my thoughts. You know, after he left, I sat here and thought about it a little bit more and said, well, you'll find out in the closing. Got kind of a thing for you. I went out to eat with my wife the other night. We were supposed to go do like an NSX thing, and I couldn't get enough people to show up or to say they were in because it was kind of late. Steve, sorry, dude, I forgot to hit you up. But this Friday, coming up, I'll make sure I get a hold of you. So we went to a local place called, it doesn't matter where we went, but they served you the pretzel bread. So sometimes you go out to eat and you get the pretzel bread, or you get like an assortment of different breads. But this place gave you the pretzel bread. Pretzel bread's good. Not good for you, but it's good. Hot pretzel bread, like whipped butter or whatever. So I had a thought. As I was eating this, I added the butter onto it, and I took the table salt, and I shook a little salt on it. Try that. Next time you're out somewhere and you get pretzel bread as like an appetizer, especially if it's warm, put a little salt on there. Because usually you think, okay, pretzel bread, I'm going to dip it like pretzel bites, right? You get it and you dip it in beer cheese. But when you get it at a restaurant before you eat as the complimentary bread that comes to the table, it's no longer pretzel bites. So like I've never been somewhere that brings you pretzel bites in beer cheese. So it's different. Add the butter, put a little bit of salt on it, stick it in your mouth. You're welcome. It's like a hot pretzel, and it's damn good. But I also had another thought. Old-fashioned drink. Very popular drink. Manhattan is a popular drink. Old-fashioned is a popular drink. But old-fashioned, by itself, the proper name is past tense. So what is the plural form of old-fashioned? So if you say, yeah, I went out and I had a couple old-fashioned. Fashioned, fashions, old-fashions. I think people say old-fashions. You don't say old-fashions, right? So think about that. It's kind of like the whole napkin thing that I went on, that I talked about after the New Orleans episode. Drew Bunkley coming up after this word from 4Wheel Online. Jhae Pfenning here, and I want to tell you guys about 4Wheel Online. For over a decade, 4Wheel Online has been bringing the best truck accessories and truck parts to enhance the appearance and performance of all trucks and SUVs. They are dedicated to providing an extensive range of upgrades that will match any maker model on the road. The truck products cover everything you need to give your truck a custom look and added functionality. And if you need a tire and wheel package, head over and use the configuration tool. They carry all the major brands of wheels and tires, so go get outfitted today. So visit them online at 4Wheel Online or call them at 813-769-2451. Again, that's 4Wheel Online, the number 4, Wheel Online. Drew Bunkley back in studio, and you brought your brand new Z06. Want to tell us about it? So you went to Bowling Green. Tell us about your whole Bowling Green experience. I want to know. We want to know everything, because I also drove the car. So you guys just hold on. We're going to talk about that. But we're going to hear about his experience to Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Yeah, Jay, Bowling Green was phenomenal, man. I really had a blast. The wife and I, the car was scheduled for delivery on the 23rd last week on Wednesday. So we flew out, the 24th. We flew out on the 23rd. The closest airport is Nashville. So we decided, but when we booked the trip, that we would pick up the car, spend the day in Bowling Green, spend the next couple of days in Nashville with the vehicle. So, yeah, it was a great trip. I mean, we went there, and when we got to the plant to the museum, we were actually about 10 minutes late. So as soon as we walked in, I didn't realize we had a factory tour to do. So they were kind of like waiting for us. So I could see where the car was at, but they're like, we got to go in the office, get our badges, watch a video about the plant. You couldn't bring any film equipment.
Of course.
Any cell phones.
Did you have to turn it off or do you have to check it in?
You have to check it in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Honda was like that too.
Yeah. So we jumped on the van and went to the museum and over to the plant. And just seeing the cars coming down the assembly line, that was my wife's favorite experience because she got to see how a car went from a shell to
That's awesome.
What we took home. Yeah.
Yep, it's awesome.
Saw the paint booths. We saw the Z06. So we got an idea of how many are being produced now. And then we also saw one of the big wigs at Chevy watching his E-Ray be built.
Did you see anything you weren't supposed to see? And it's okay if you had to sign like an NDA, but were you able to look at anything you're not allowed to talk about or no?
No, everything that we saw, the only thing that we saw new was the E-Ray. And they kind of pointed out to us because they have different color codes for the different vehicles. So they pointed out to us the E-Ray. At that point, we were able to see him get him built. We saw the chassis go down over the E-Ray body with the front motor. But I was looking for anything else that would be spy shotable, but no, I didn't see anything.
Now, with the E-Ray, and you may not know the answer to this, are they introducing new colors? Because I know with the NSX, I couldn't get every color from my Type S that they made previously. There was a couple colors they eliminated. They got rid of Nord Gray and they got rid of Source Silver, so I couldn't even get those in a Type S. No option. Are there colors that you know of they're going to get rid of for the E-Ray? Are there E-Ray exclusive colors? And if you don't know, or if you're not allowed to say,
yeah, they've got 3 new colors coming out for 24. So, and they've been showing them on the E-Ray.
Like on the commercials or just stuff you can see on YouTube.
You can actually go right online right now and configure your vehicle. So, yeah, they have it's like a Seawolf color. It's like a weird type of green color. They've got a new gray. And these are flat colors, not metallics. So they're kind of like the Rapid Blue is... that more exotic look. So they've coming out with 3 different colors. They're getting rid of Elkhart Lake Blue. So that's the blue metallic. I have one of those vehicles. And they're also getting rid of the Zeus Bronze.
Do you know where Elkhart Lake is?
It is in one of the states in the United States.
That is true. It's in Wisconsin. It's where Road America is.
Okay.
Yep. It's the closest town to the famous Road America. And in Elkhart Lake, they have a bar called Siepkin's Resort, or Siepkin's Last Resort, I believe. But it's a racer's bar. So you go in there and the stickers are covered everywhere. In fact, there's actually a One Auto sticker on the ceiling fan.
Nice.
It's been on there since 2017. But they got a really cool painting, and it has all the famous, at the time it was painted, all the famous like race car drivers ever throughout history. And like my buddy Peters, he's in the bar, he's in the painting, which is pretty cool. So
that's nice.
Elkhart Lakes, Wisconsin.
One of your spots, many spots I'm sure you've been. That's good. That's a nice car culture. Obviously the colors, Chevy used that color for that name for a reason, but yeah. So yeah, they've got a few colors coming out. The 2 colors dropped. But other than that, yeah, the plant was phenomenal. And then just heading back to the museum and finally getting to see the car. I'll tell you, I never heard one start up except for on YouTube videos.
Right.
So to really hear my car start for the first time and
sounds great.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I shed a tear.
Did you really like that's my car? Okay, you never know. I don't know how emotional you can be.
Yeah, I was emotional, but it wasn't that emotional. But it was everybody knew. My wife filmed me, doing the first startup. Everything. The lady handed me the keys. She put my tag on the plate on the car. So
hopefully you're more emotional than I am because you were there when I picked up my Type S.
Yeah.
And it's like my wife's, "Are you excited? Are you excited?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is my excited face. Like it's cool. I'm here and I got it. And trust me, I love this experience." But sometimes people could look at you and I'm like, "Are you really having fun?"
Yeah, no, but see, the dealership experience versus this is totally different.
Sure.
Because this is catered to your car. You walk in, it's roped off. They've got a plaque right next to the vehicle. It's got your name. It says congratulations. They put the stickers on it for you. They really white glove you for these.
Is it an expensive trip? Like, how much does it cost, if you don't mind? I mean, can you say just how much does it cost to say, hey, I have a Z06, I want to come to Bowling Green at the Corvette factory, right? And take delivery of it.
So it's $995. You have to do it at the time. That's how. Well, yeah,
like $995.
$995 to have your car to do the museum delivery. You have to do it at the time you order. It has to be in the order code.
Right.
Yeah, and then you just plan your flight.
And is it a 1-day thing?
Yeah, it's a factory. It's a plant tour, and then the delivery. They have a track there. You can drive a Z06 or C8, depending on what you're getting. They've got a track there you can use. You can take your car out, or you can use their vehicle. They've got, I think they do a 4-lap, hot laps. So, yeah,
man,
they've got a lot. And then they've got a huge museum there, too, from the original C8s. You know what I mean? So if you're into Corvettes.
You can see it from the highway.
Yes.
I pointed at it when I went to buy my Infiniti.
And then when I was in Kentucky, one of the guys I seen at the airport, he's a Porsche owner, and he told me their club, that's where they drive their vehicles, because that's probably the only track that's in that Kentucky area and stuff like that.
You've been there.
Yeah.
There's not a lot there.
There's not a lot. And I tried to find a Cars and Coffee on Saturday. You know, I went on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm trying to find Kentucky, car groups and stuff. Mm-hmm. They have them certain times. There was this month, it was the first Saturday of the month, so they didn't have anything going on. So yeah, it's a small town, and it's not too much to do, but they do use that track for open racing too at the Corvette Museum. So clubs can join.
So Acura has something called the PMC Tour that you could do with your NSX. So I could have gone for the Type S. And what day did you pick up your car?
24th.
But what day of the week was that?
It was Wednesday.
Okay, so the PMC tours are very similar, where you can only go on like a Tuesday and Wednesday, or a Wednesday and Thursday. So it didn't really work out for me. But it's like, I want to say $3,000. It's like $3,000 a person. So you could take a guest for like an additional $1,500 or $2,000 or something. I'm like, so you go to Columbus, and then it's a nice drive from Columbus to the PMC. And sure, they do this stuff where you get to the hotel, and I think the hotel is part of it. So when you check in, they probably says like, welcome, blah, 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 blah. And they do basically what you had said that they do at Corvette, but it's like, that's a lot of money, man. But for $1,000, done deal.
Yeah, that's why I had to do it. I was like, and it's funny, I'd already built the car out, and then I remembered, I went online. Actually, when I put the order in with the dealer, like there in person, checked all the boxes, went home, YouTube, first thing I did. And I'm like, museum delivery. Oh, you got to do a code. So I called the dealer up the next day. I said, add this code onto it, because the car went in. I put the build in on a Friday. Monday is when they uploaded it into the system, and it was accepted the same day. So the car only took 4 weeks to get built.
So then you have the car. Now you're back here with the car. Like I said, we met up this morning, and it takes a lot for me to get up to Highline Auto. We had that conversation the other day. You're like, hey, you're going to go? I'm like, I don't know. Probably not. A couple of people hit me up. So you're going to go? And then my buddy Josh said, hey, I want to go, but I don't know if I really want to roll. So if you're going to go, I'll roll with you. And I'm like, oh, all right. So then we went up there. The car is beautiful, guys. The car is stunning. It is Matrix. What's the color code?
Ceramic Matrix Gray.
Makes sense. I'm sitting in front of C8 Matrix. So ceramic Matrix Gray. Reminds me a lot of the Casino White Pearl NSX in a certain way, where it kind of has it looks white, but it's not really white. It looks gray, but only if you have it next to a white car.
Yeah. Sitting solo, you'd think it's white.
With the red interior, essentially like a red and black.
Yeah, two-tone red and black.
Yeah, which is perfect.
Red calipers.
All red, which Corvette could have sometimes, just too much red.
Yeah.
But it looks perfect. And what were your impressions of the car? Tell us the differences between that, because you've had multiple C8s. You've car dealer for life, and you love Corvettes. So,
yeah. And impression is it's 100% exactly what they said it was. I mean, it is there. It's all there.
All the videos and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. I can't believe I have it, Jhae.
Yeah.
I'm totally serious.
Yep.
I cannot believe I own this car right now. But yeah, it's no question about it. The horsepower is there, 670 versus 495. The flat plane crank, the engine alone, just the sound that.
Wait, 670
rumbles.
Versus 495?
670
That's
versus
a big
495.
difference.
there's no comparison between the two cars.
That's a big difference.
So yeah, the wide body stance, the 345s on the rear. I mean, you could probably fit one more tire in between the two.
Yeah, they take up a lot.
I mean, they're huge. And so yeah, it's hopefully it won't be a maintenance nightmare, but for right now, she is 100% good. No lights, no nicks, no ticks.
Right.
I was hoping, so she was build number 1889. That's my number on the vehicle. So hopefully, I know they've been having some issues, but hopefully it's not on all of them.
So the issues they have had, is it between a certain range that they're saying cars produced 5 through 1200 may have this issue bringing into your dealership and having, are they doing the recalls yet, or they're just kind of waiting to see what happens?
Yeah, no recalls at all. I mean, some people are talking right now about ticking noises in the engine. They've had some failures. They've had some engine replacements already, transmissions. But a lot of these people, you got to realize, I don't know how they're driving them. And then you don't know how the dealership is driving them.
Right.
That's one reason why I did a museum delivery also, because I have a few friends that are salesmen at Chevy stores, and they tell me stories about how these techs rev up the cars and the engine, while they're in the shop getting PPI and stuff like that, because they'll never experience a car and it's the biggest hype. So they want to shoot their little videos and, cars got 6 miles and they're redlining them.
Right. That makes me wonder that, because you were good with yours. 500 miles is the break-in. And you were saying earlier, like, there's things that the car literally doesn't give you access to until you reach a certain point.
Right. Yeah, the car has limitations on the RPMs. It's 5,500 for the break-in period. At 500 miles, I got a recording of it. It'll be on my YouTube channel. It automatically turns over to red lines 8,500. So that opens up 4,000 RPMs.
Right.
It's sick. Exactly what your 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs opens up. So, but yeah,
and then a mode too,
the
right?
launch mode. Yeah, there's no access to launch control. So I did not redline the car at all. I didn't do any hard accelerations from a light or anything. I just drove the car like I normally drove it. I did put my modes a little higher because I wanted to hear the engine sound, hear the roar, the backfire, but no racing. But now she's open. So I'm still going to be gentle, but
sure,
I'm not going to let anybody pass me on the highway either.
Right. Yeah, we were coming back from Highline Auto Cars and Coffee. I could tell once you hit that 500 miles, because now the windows are up. And you went by. You didn't go flying by, but you went by, and I could tell. And you hear the exhaust pop, and I'm like, all right, he's ready.
Yeah. I was hoping you guys were going to film. That's why.
Yeah, I said, hey, Josh, roll the window down. That's Josh of Throttle. He's been on here before. Roll the window down and get this. So I'll have to ask him for that clip.
Yeah, definitely. I need a copy of that.
Yeah. So I drove the car. Sounds amazing. Feels amazing. Like, you're in a cockpit, guys. I felt like I was in a cockpit. So this is almost like a rental car review, except for I didn't rent the car or have it for a full week. But like Drew, I drove it around like I normally would drive, or a little less than I would drive, because I fly around in the NSX quite a bit. I drove it like I was driving the Infinity.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still I wanted to make sure I got the feedback, and I drove in your personalized mode, which I actually liked a lot, because it's got all the multiple modes. It's got the Z mode, right? And it's take us through the different modes that the vehicle has.
Yeah. So it has your basic winter modes, which we didn't even get into, but there's a personalized mode.
We don't need to get in the winter mode because we're in Phoenix.
Exactly. Yeah. So
in June.
It does have a wet mode in case you get caught up in the rain up in Flagstaff or something.
Yep.
But yeah, so you've got my mode. It has the touring mode, which is going to be your middle mode, sport, track, and then it has a Z mode, which you can personally set with the button on the steering wheel. So that's my favorite, is that in my mode.
Right. So driving around in his mode, I got on it a couple of times. I didn't get on it. It's, I just don't. But from what I did get on, it sounded amazing. One thing I'm jealous of is the downshift. The downshift sounds. You come to a light, it's just, you want that every time. And that car turns so many heads. And I don't think it's just because it's a C8, but the noise it makes from outside the car. Because I looked around, even when I was riding passenger, everybody's looking around. In fact, when he pulled up to my house, the little annoying neighbor kids that you guys see on my videos, the little they came out and they were in the front yard waiting to see what was going on.
Yeah.
And when we drove off, they followed us almost like an old school commercial where the kids are kind of racing the car, knowing that they can't actually beat the car. But it was cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it brings everybody out of their houses.
Yeah. It's the newest thing for Chevy, and they're introducing 2 more models after this. And that's what's hard.
So there was some conversation about that this morning, and they go, are they doing, it's something with a Z?
ZR1.
Well, not the ZR1, some other word.
So there's the E-Ray, the Zora.
Zora, that's it.
Right. Zora is supposed to be 100% electric, but they're talking about...
And the E-Ray is a hybrid, like the NSX.
Correct.
Got it.
And then the ZR1 would be my vehicle with a twin turbo. So now you got to understand, if you go back into Chevrolet's videos where the CEO or whoever's head of Chevrolet talks about their history and what's going to be happening in the future, they've already mentioned these things.
Right.
What they haven't mentioned is a ZR1.
They have not. Yep. So that's what everyone wonders. They've heard Zorro.
Exactly. And so people are thinking that the vehicle that they've been just got released spy photos of is going to be a ZR1.
You're thinking it's a Zorro.
Who knows? But the Zora is also the one that has been announced.
Zora or Zorro?
Zora.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
Not Zorro. That's the guy with the sword.
Right. So one of the person that the brainchild for the mid-engine Corvette. So that was Zora, and so they've named the vehicle, and there's all type of Easter eggs all over the car with his picture.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is a Z mode kind of an Easter egg too for him?
Exactly. That's exactly what that is.
Yep. I thoroughly enjoy the car. I think it's super cool. Visually, I still like. I was rolling down the road the other day, coming back from Decal Monkey, and I go, "Wow, that's a good looking car." C7, probably Grand Sport or something. The one that looks kind of like a Z06. It's still a great looking car.
Yeah.
Your car is a great looking car. So I think the Z06 package of the C8 is fantastic. The regular C8 looks good, but it's not the Z06 with all the aero and the active aero, like the very functional. It does not looks. It's very functional.
Yeah, my car is a non-aero package. So the Z07 is the aero package with the high wing.
With the wing and everything, yeah. But even your package, no, not your package. Okay, guys, just stop. But the car outside, how you got it, it looks good.
Yeah, I tried to spec it that way. That way I can add a few things because that Z07 package was on constraint. So it wasn't even available. It was like if you want a car, you have to order non-Z07. So I already had the built out, on my website. So I just put that together.
I think you had mentioned that before too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ordered it, but you ordered this, not the old, balls to the wall visual package.
Yeah. And the Z07 package is a track package. The tires are completely different. It has the Cup 2Rs, which are like, people are going through those tires in like 5,000 miles. They're super sticky. And for me, this is a daily driver. I'm on the road. I want to go places, do things. So I wanted a street Z06 and not a track Z06.
The next time we do this, I'm going to have to drive across town and do it in your podcast studio. Tell us about your new setup there and what you're doing with it.
Yeah, so we just started our podcast room, Westgate Exotic Studios. We are offering podcasts, hosting. We will edit your videos if you want to do YouTube. What we have is a media program set up where we will film for you, we'll do the edits for you, and then we'll create reels for your business. So we have a lot of realtors and stuff like that. They don't have time. They come in, they want to, but they've got stuff to talk about. So we record everything and then we break it up for them for marketing so they can use it and they can have daily reels that are already made for them.
Nice. And I would imagine that's a competitive package for your prospective clients.
Yeah, we give them like 2 shootings. They're 90-minute podcasts. We do all the editing for them. It's $1,000 for that. But we give them 30 days worth of content.
$1,000, 30 days. You're on a marketing budget that's a drop in the pan, probably.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the realtors, they come in, they've got shows they want to shoot, and if they come in and just shoot a 30-minute show, they can come back for their different 90 minutes. So they don't have to do it all in one show.
Got it.
They can do multiple
90 minutes worth. Got it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. And then we also come out, and Dakota, who does all my filming, he started off with me Online, he's my media guy. So that's his tag for Instagram, my media guy. And he's the one that handles all the editing, the shooting, and he can do offsite. He can do it at their business or residence. So there's a lot involved.
Sounds good, man. Well, thank you for coming out here, and thank you for letting me drive that super cool vehicle outside.
You are the only other person. I got one of my best friends. I let him drive, and I said, I'm going to let Jhae definitely take this car for a ride. I've been waiting for it to get here, and I'm glad you were able to enjoy the car. So what I want to find, if anybody knows, we need to find an airstrip or somewhere where we can get together, not just us, but I want to do stuff. You know, there's people listening that are in the car community out here in the valley. If anybody knows of places where we can do like quarter mile, half mile.
Gila Bend used to offer that. I don't know, because I know when No Fly Zone comes into town, it's down in Gila Bend, which is, you know where Gila Bend is?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've done photo shoots out there. It's a long ways to go for a photo shoot, but I do know they do have the No Fly Zone, and I think they still do it at Gila Bend. I think it comes once or twice a year.
Well, somebody needs to reach out to us and let me know, because I'd be interested in trying to find out more information, because I definitely want to do some video shoots. So check out C8 Matrix. Check out the YouTube channel. I really appreciate you guys if you could follow and subscribe.
Thanks, Drew. I want to thank Drew, as always, for taking the time to come by the studio. His place is on the other side of town, and it's almost an hour drive. You're lucky if you can do it without hitting traffic. So it was good to see him. Good to check out his car. Awesome. Again, it was an awesome car. Some of my thoughts on it. After he left, I was thinking about it. And I mean, I still like my NSX, but I think I've conditioned myself to like my NSX. Not that you have to force yourself to like your car over somebody else's. But that C8 is a special vehicle. I've always thought it was a special vehicle. I love the C7s. But I've never wanted one, like to own one. But being able to, like my first, because he came by here before, if you guys remember, a few times actually. And usually he has a C8, or one time he had the e-tron, which I didn't drive, and the Porsche Taycan. I never know if I say it. That was a Taycan turbo Taycan. But my first time actually being in a C8 with the engine on, driving it, was the Z06. I'm kind of spoiled. That was awesome. And no matter what I do to my NSX, because I may do some stuff to it, because of the root of the vehicles, because of who the vehicles are deep down, I'm never going to have the same wondrous sound that you would get from a Z06. Even from a regular Corvette, a regular C8 in sport mode sounds incredible. And there's a few things I can do to my NSX to make it sound great and give it a little bit more power. I don't care about the power. It's all relative. As soon as, like I said before, as soon as Tesla started coming out, and you could be sitting in a light, and there's some soccer dad or soccer mom next to you, minding their own business, doesn't give a shit about cars, knowing that they can just put it in regular mode and blow your doors off from light to light. Horsepower, pure 0 to 60, quarter mile, doesn't really matter. That's a bragging vehicle owner's game. That's a video game playing fantasy, wish they can drive a real cars thing. It's like, well, this car's slow because it goes 0 to 60 in 3.3, and this one goes in 3.1. That's this fast. I just snapped each finger from each hand. That doesn't matter. So with that being said, I mean, obviously this thing has more, the C706 has 70 more horsepower, but it's also working with 2 less wheels on a launch. But I'm never going to be able to replicate that beautiful sound. When he was driving around in his personalized mode, or when I was driving his vehicle in his personalized settings mode, when you come to a stoplight and it has that downshift sound, nothing better. And that's one thing I do miss about my old NSX, is downshifting as I come to a stoplight. It sounds so good. And you are turning so many heads because they want to know, what the hell is that sound and where it's coming from? Either that's a badass car or that's a shitty ass pickup truck. And this last weekend, if they thought it was a badass car, they would have been 100% correct. So I like my NSX Type S, but that Z06 is special. And I'm never going to be able to replicate that sound because I have a hybrid and that thing is pure internal combustion badassery in the C7 Z06. So congratulations to him, to Drew Bunkley, for getting that vehicle. It was a great vehicle to see. We'll see how long he holds on to it. He is a car dealer by nature, but this is a special car. And everything has a price, but hopefully he keeps it long. But if he gets a stupid offer on it, he's going to get another Z06. So I'm glad he at least has it for now. I got my first massage. So first off, I've always been really weird about people touching me. And there's a history. There's a reason. You'd have to search old podcast episodes. You would have to search Jhae Pfenning on other people's podcasts, because those are when I do a deep dive into who I am or what makes this person up that's sitting in front of this microphone right now. As you guys know, on this show, I don't talk about myself that much. It's not that kind of show. If I can give you a story that kind of allows you to relate, or not to push you onto the Patreon, but those of you who support the show, whether it's the $3 or the $10 tier, you get access to all the stuff that everybody else doesn't get access listening to. I call it the national show, this global show that you can get on any podcast platform, Hard Parking with Jhae Pfenning. So I got my first massage, and I've always been weird about that because my wife gets massages all the time. And when you're at work, they're like, hey, they're giving free massages in the lobby. You going to go get your massage? I'm like, no, I'm good. You go to the airport and you see people sitting there face down, getting their backs beat on. I'm looking at them like, man, that feels good. That looks like it would feel good. Would you like one? No, I'm good. But I got one a couple weeks ago. And my back, I already knew it. Like my neck, my back, like it is bad. And I don't know why, but I always have like a lot of stress in my shoulders. Anyone and everyone who's ever touched my shoulders. You know, people walk up and they're like, hey, what's up, buddy? And like, wow, man, your shoulders are, you're tense. Whether it's mom or dad or my wife or random friend or just complete stranger in a social setting. You know, it's just, but man, I got some deep knots and man, that thing hurt. Like my back hurt for days, but I knew it was going to hurt. But now I can't wait for my next one. Because if through those massages and my trips to the chiropractor can straighten me out, then I'm going to be in good shape. I was recently editing a podcast for Wes Tankersley. You guys know that, or maybe you don't know, I edit his podcast for him. And he has a guest on this week, actually, Brandon Miller. And Brandon Miller is a muscle specialist. And he was talking about, you could say your neck is sore, and this may be an extreme example, but the real issue may start with your left calf. And it could be the right side of your neck. So they have to find the root of the issue. And once they sort out your calf, then they kind of chase your issue kind of up your body, wraps around your spinal cord, and then they release the pressure point that's holding down the muscle that has knotted up the long muscle that runs up your neck. And so, you know, that's the hope, because I have really bad neck and shoulder and back issues, muscular. So make sure you check out that episode. That is the Brandon Miller episode this week, the first full week of June on Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley. I also have some really cool episodes coming up, a lot of guests, not solo episodes. And I think I talked about the Burma episode that's coming up. We have Randy Marchetti. He's kind of an icon in the NSX game way back in the days before I can even afford an NSX. We caught up to him. He lives in the area. Works now for a huge company that has nothing to do with cars. But it's weird how that's your beginnings in one place because of the stuff you've done in the car world. Another friend pulled him over to a completely different world and had him design some stuff. And I mean, the guy's he's doing well. And he's a fantastic guy and very musically inclined. We talk about that. All that more is coming up. So with that being said, I want to thank Right Honda and Right Toyota out of Scottsdale, Arizona. 4wheelonline.com, Sales Shop Wireless Services. Every face-to-face or phone interview is brought to you by Sales Shop Wireless Services. Can't forget Patreon business supporters. Kuya Automotive out of Winter Garden, Florida. Pell Construction out of Caledonia, Michigan. Big House Small Home Design out of Ashburn, Virginia, and Traverse City, Michigan. Of course, Westgate Exotic Cars Rentals. That was Mr. Drew Bunkley that was in studio in this episode. And of course, Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley out of Boise, Idaho. And as I'd mentioned before, if you're in a position to help the podcast upgrade, you can join the Patreon for as little as $3 a month and get access to bonus audio as well as show swag. I've designed Patreon exclusive merchandise. I need to actually send some of the newer stuff out that just got here the other day. Drew was able to get his because he was in the studio. If you want to pick up a Hard Parking Podcast shirt, go to hardparkingpod.com. Proceeds to all that stuff goes right back into the show. I need new podcast arms. I'm unhappy with the arms that I have. Want to follow me on Instagram at Pfenning, hardparkingpodcast@gmail.com, and join the Hard Parking Violations Facebook group. And remember, I can't grow without you telling the world how great this show is. So let's do this. Let's grow this thing together. Tell your friends, and I'll talk to you all next week.
Shut up!
A beater.